Okay, it's 9:30 and welcome everyone. The meeting is now in order. Madam Clerk, roll call, please.
Each member is acknowledging that they are attending the meeting via Zoom and that they are located in Wayne County, Michigan, unless otherwise stated when I call your name. Commissioner Killeen.
Here.
Commissioner Dobb.
Here.
Commissioner Clark-Holman.
Here.
Commissioner Kniezek.
Here.
Chair Basham.
Here.
You have a quorum present.
Next item, Madam Clerk, and thank you.
B, Chair's remarks.
None for the meeting. Thank you.
C, approval of the May 12th, 2021 meeting minutes.
Can I get a motion?
Move for approval. I support Commissioner Dobbs' motion.
It's been moved and supported. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Ayes have it. Next item.
D, unfinished business. There is none listed.
That's right. And now we'll go to new business. Item number 1. I'd like to welcome Ms. Cora, her staff, and her guest. And Ms. Cora, please proceed.
Sure. Marcy Cora, Auditor General. The first item we have before us today is our OAG's Financial Assessment Limited Review Report for the Wayne County Sewage Disposal System, their audited financial statements for the fiscal year ended September 30th, 2020. I'll have my staff, Andy Ray, introduce himself, and I believe we have representatives from Department of Public Services, Environment. I know Moyna Moore is on, there may be others, so I'll have Andy introduce himself first, and then if guests could introduce themselves.
Good morning, Andrew Ray, Principal Senior Auditor, Office of the Legislative Auditor General.
Morning.
And if the guests could introduce themselves.
I'll start. Good morning, Moyna Moore, Assistant Division Director for DPS Finance.
Morning.
Good morning, Shawnee DeBerry, Director of Administration for DPS.
Morning.
And I will have a presentation. I'll share the screen. There we go. Okay, Andy, you can go ahead.
I'll begin with the background, which can be found on page 2 of the OAG's report. At present, Wayne County sewage disposal systems consist of the Rouge Valley sewage disposal system and combined sewer overflow basins, which are enterprise funds of the Charter County of Wayne. The county owns and operates the systems in accordance with enabling legislation and service agreements. The Wayne County Department of Public Services Environmental Services Division administers the systems. Materials and services supplied by outside vendors or other county operations are charged to the system responsible for such expenses when incurred. Certain other services are shared among the systems and other county operations, with the proportionate cost of the services being billed to the individual system based upon actual services provided. The Independent External Auditor's Report, which can be found on page 2 of the OAG's report. Plant Moran, the external auditor, stated that the information for the sewage disposal systems as of September 30th, 2020 is fairly stated in all material respects in relation to the county's basic financial statements as a whole. The unmodified opinion is issued by an auditor when the financial statements presented are free of material misstatements and are represented fairly in accordance with the generally accepted accounting principles. It is the best type of an opinion an entity may receive from an external auditor. I will now proceed with the OAG assessment, which can be found on page 3 of the OAG's report. We concluded that generally the audited financial statements and other supplementary information appear complete and thorough. However, our review of the report content noted that the following: total assets as of September 30th, 2020 were $107.3 million. Total assets decreased by approximately $1 million from the prior year, primarily due to depreciation of capital assets. Total liabilities decreased by approximately $3.1 million due to decreases in accounts and contracts payable. And net position increased by approximately $2.2 million from the prior year, primarily due to operating revenue exceeding operating expenses by $1.4 million, in addition to increases in non-operating revenue. Long-term debt and other obligations, which are addressed on page 3 of the OAG's report. As of September 30th, 2020, total long-term debt and other obligations totaled $11.4 million. The sewage disposal system primarily issues 2 types of bonds. The first is general obligation bonds, for which the county has pledged its limited tax full faith and credit for repayment. These bonds are primarily payable from the proceeds received from the respective community. The principal balance outstanding for these bonds is approximately $2.2 million as of September 30th, 2020. The second type of bonds are revenue bonds, which are secondarily secured by the limited tax full faith and credit pledge of the county. These bonds are primarily payable from the charges for sewage disposal services assessed against the communities. The principal balance outstanding for these bonds was approximately $9.2 million as of September 30th, 2020. Restricted assets, which can also be found on page 3 of the report. The system's restricted assets are composed of receivables from local units of $2,208,364 and $2,353,364 as of September 30th, 2020 and 2019, respectively. Bond principal due from the municipalities was recorded upon the issuance of debt payable from judgment levies for construction of sewage facilities and systems. Such principal will be repaid by the benefited local communities in accordance with the debt services requirement of the county. Our conclusion and recommendation can be found on page 4. Our conclusion is based on our review of the limited review. Nothing came to our attention that caused us to believe that the financial report, including the audited financial statements of the sewage disposal systems, are not presented in conformity with generally accepted accounting principles. It is our recommendation that the OAG's financial assessment limited review report of the sewage disposal system's financial statements for fiscal year ended September 30th, 2020 be forwarded to the Wayne County Commission to receive and file. That concludes my presentation. Thank you.
Okay, is there any comments or questions from commissioners? Okay.
Getting off of mute, Mr. Chair. Yeah. Question, Mr. Chair, please.
Yes, go ahead.
Yeah, I got a couple of questions on revenue. Obviously, we get revenue from the local municipalities. Is there any other sources of revenue? Private industry? Are we doing disposal for big industrial? Where's all the revenue coming from?
So good morning, this is Moina Moore. I'll speak to what I know we invoice. I am newer to Wayne County and to the learning the sewers and the drainage districts. So what I can speak to is we do invoice communities for the basins as well as for the Rouge Valley drainage district. And so that revenue comes directly from them. I don't believe we are engaged in any other contracts that would generate revenue that I'm aware of. I'm not sure if I have any of my operational partners on from the Environmental Services Division that could speak to or confirm that, but I can certainly carry that question back if not.
Okay, yeah, I'd kind of like, because we got a lot of big industry, but I assume the map for this is on the website, the map for the area covered?
I am not certain.
Yeah,
I would have to confirm.
I'm going to check that out too, but there's a lot of heavy industry there and they got to dispose of stuff somewhere. My other question on this, Mr. Chair, is what constitutes non-operating revenue?
Somebody would like to respond?
Yeah, I'm going to take that one as well. So again, that's what I'm going to look into because to my knowledge, and the industrial piece may fall here, but we invoice the communities based on a rate package that's put together. And that does roll up from the industries and the businesses that they serve within. So to my knowledge, again, all of the revenue base that I'm familiar with comes from a direct assessment. but I will absolutely carry that question back and come back to this body as appropriate with that response.
Thank you, Ms. Moore. Does the AG know what non-operating revenue is?
No, I think that would be something that the department would have the information on.
Yeah, because I really didn't see it in the report. I think somebody else was trying to say something.
Hi, this is Elizabeth Barrera, DPS Environment. And I just wanted to say that, yes, the municipalities are the one that directly pay into the assessments. If there are some big industrial companies within the municipalities, I believe they pay directly to the municipality because the municipality is going to turn around and charge their, the industries and the parcels and things that are in their area. But we get it directly from the communities.
Great, that sounds good. Do you have any insight into what non-operating revenue is? I assume the check that we get from the local communities would be considered operating revenue, but it was mentioned in the report here that non-operating revenue was up, and I was wondering what do we get in the way of a non-operating revenue and from whom?
Yeah, I'm not quite sure what that means as far as the non-operating revenue. I'm not sure if that has anything to do with the SRFs. I know that for the Rouge Valley system, and I believe a couple of the CSOs, there is some SRF funding that's come through that we've drawn down on for huge projects. I know for the Rouge Valley system, we do have the LT-CAP project that's coming up, which will be an SRF segmented loan. I don't know if that
you're
would be
going
considered.
into alphabet soup with me here. No idea what SRS is.
SRF, a state revolving fund.
Okay.
If we have, a huge project that we're coming up with a long-term corrective action plan. So we are looking at SRF funding, state revolving fund funding for that. And I don't know if that's considered a non-operating revenue.
Well, I'd be glad to know if it was the state revolving fund, in order for us to have some revenue to do these other projects. Thank you very much, Mr. Chair. Thank you.
And Andrew, I was just glancing at the financial statements, and non-operating revenue could also include investment income.
And that's what I was going to jump in, the investment income. Actually, we had our assets went up by a couple of million. So that might be part of it. So thank you. Any further questions, comments? Okay, would it be appropriate to ask for a motion to receive and file?
Move to receive and file.
Support.
It's been moved and supported. Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. All those opposed? The ayes have it. Next item, Madam Clerk.
Item 2, communication from Marcella Cora, Wayne County Legislative Auditor General, forwarding a copy of the Office of Legislative Auditor General's Financial Assessment Limited Review Report for the Wayne County Land Bank Corporation's audited financial statements for the fiscal year ended September 30th, 2020.
Okay, Ms. Cora.
Before you is the Office of Auditor General's Financial Assessment Limited Review for the Wayne County Land Bank Corporation. Tequila Allen will be doing the presentation. I believe we have representatives from the Land Bank. If they could introduce themselves along with Tequila, if you could introduce yourself first, and then we'll have the representatives from Land Bank.
Tequila Allen, Principal Senior Auditor.
Welcome.
Anthony Cartwright, Executive Director.
Welcome.
Jake Parcell, Deputy Director.
Welcome.
And Mr. Chair, Andrew Candrivas here, member of the Land Bank as well.
What's the name again? Candrivas?
Candrivas, it's a downriver name. You should know it, Ray.
Okay, thank you. Okay, moving right along.
Tequila, if you could begin your presentation.
Sure. The Office of Legislative Auditor General received the Wayne County Land Bank financial report, including audited financial statements for the fiscal year ended September 30th, 2020. Because we have performed more extensive financial reviews of the Land Bank's financial statements in the past few years, we elected to conduct a limited review of their financial reports for the fiscal year ended 2020. The Land Bank acquires, manages, and disposes of public tax-reverted property to foster development and promote economic growth. The Land Bank also sells abandoned properties and collaborates with nonprofit or developers to promote new economic development within Wayne County. The land bank, for financial reporting purposes, is classified as a discretely presented component unit of the county in accordance with generally accepted accounting principles, or GAAP. A discretely presented component unit is a legally separate entity from the county. However, the county is financially accountable. The Land Bank Corporation's governing board consists of 5 members. The Wayne County Treasurer or his designee is the chairperson. 3 members are appointed by the county executive, and 1 member is appointed by the Wayne County Commission. The land bank is managed by an executive director selected by the board of directors. The external auditor's report, which is on page 3 of our assessment. The Land Bank Corporation received an unmodified opinion on the audited financial statements for fiscal year ended September 30th, 2020 from Plant & Moran, the external auditor for Wayne County. An unmodified opinion is issued when the external auditor concludes that the financial
We're losing you.
Did we lose her? Can continue on until she comes back.
financial statements taken as a whole, GAAP. Plant & Moran reporting and on compliance, up a little bit down. Yeah. Next page. Oh, okay. Yeah. Plant & Moran also provided a report on internal controls over financial reporting and on compliance and other matters. The report identified no deficiencies in internal controls that are considered material weaknesses. Moving on down, those are the financial results and operations. The assets of the land bank exceeded its liabilities by approximately $4.6 million and $9 million for the years ended September 30th, 2020 and 2019, respectively. The decrease in total assets during the fiscal year ended 2020 primarily relates to the sale of property that was held for sale as inventory of the land bank for $4.65 million as of fiscal year end 2019. Total revenue decreased by approximately $6 million, or 81.5%, and program expenses increased by approximately $3.9 million, or 203.7% for 2020, with expenses above revenue for the year. The total decrease in revenue is due to the sale of property located at 511 Woodward during fiscal year 2019, and the increase in expenditure is related to the disposal of the property in 2020. The land bank's governmental fund ending balance for fiscal year 2020 was approximately $4.6 million, a decrease of approximately $4.4 million from the prior year. The entire amount of the fund balance, other than the portion that is non-spendable inventory, is unassigned and available for spending at the land bank's discretion. We also noted one contingent liability: City of Highland Park versus the Wayne County Land Bank in the Wayne County Circuit Court. The plaintiff, City of Highland Park, seeks unpaid stormwater drainage charges assessed to properties owned by the land bank. The land bank contends that the majority of its properties in the city are immune from the charges due to applicable state law. The trial court agreed with the land bank's position and dismissed the case. The city appealed. In an identical case against the Michigan State Land Bank, the judge rejected the same argument that the trial judge in the land bank's case was successful on. The Michigan State Land Bank has appealed. Liability now turns on the decision of the Michigan Court of Appeals. If the Michigan Court of Appeals determined that the land banks are responsible to pay stormwater drainage charges, the case will be remanded to the trial court level, where a trial on damages will take place. It is estimated that the city has charged approximately $100,000 per year since 2017. At this time, the outstanding liability and possible risk of judgment would be approximately $300,000. Our conclusion and recommendation on page 4 of our report: based on our limited review, nothing came to our attention that caused us to believe the Wayne County Land Bank Corporation's audited financial statements are not presented in conformity with generally accepted accounting principles. It is our recommendation that the OAG's Financial Assessment Limited Review Report on the Wayne County Land Bank Corporation's financial statements for fiscal year ended September 30th, 2020 be forwarded to the Wayne County Commission for receiving and filing. That concludes my report.
Okay, any comments, questions from commissioners? Anything further to be added?
Yeah, Mr. Chair.
Commissioner Colleen.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Wow, we've got, we're down to about a value of $4 million for the Land Bank Authority.
Somebody like to respond?
Yes, yes, we are.
Total assets of 4.5 million, which, you know, that's a pretty small land bank. What is what's the future of the land bank here? What's the purpose going forward? I mean, 4 million is not a whole lot of money.
Well, it's
Future, yeah.
it's normally about in that range. You got the 9 million that you were looking at previously was us taking in that 511 Woodward building, and we transferred that money back to Wayne County, which got us back to that 4 to 5 million range that the land bank is usually in. We are looking at, since inventory is going to be light because of the no foreclosures last year, inventory is going to be light. We should get something. We are looking at different grant opportunities and different programs with investors to realize some more revenue for the land bank.
To that point, I guess, how many pieces of property does the land bank have in their inventory?
We got about 1,200 parcels right now.
Okay.
Mr. Chair, if I may.
Commissioner Kling.
Yeah, well, I want to follow up then. What's the strategic plan for the land bank then? What are you trying to accomplish?
I stated, well, the number one thing the land bank wants to do right now is engage the community. Once we engage the community, then we can leverage that to do other things we want to do. We are aggressively going after grants. We do have a proposal that we're doing to get some ARPA funds that you guys probably will see. We are going to try to do some affordable housing things and some neighborhood stabilization things.
Okay, that is there like a written plan for this? That's a little vague. Engage the community, on what, for what purpose?
Yeah, you'll see our written plan. Like I said, we are doing a plan right now to get some ARPA funds sent our way. You should see that. I would think probably, well, I don't know when the commission is going to see it, but it will be out this week. So you should see that. And that's going to be what we are going to use to engage the community as far as community development, affordable housing, more demolition, things like that to engage and help the community.
Well, these are very, these matters with land banks and homes and businesses. These are touchy matters in communities all around the county. This is not the forum in audit, but perhaps one of our committees, I don't know, government ops or something, can put that plan on the agenda, because I think Wayne County citizens and local communities and commissioners that have those communities would be very interested in what the land bank is trying to do. Because as you know, Mr. Cartwright, good, bad, or indifferent, land banks take a lot of flack out there. And so all I'm suggesting here is that we get ahead of that and we know ahead of time what the direction of the land bank is, rather than having some properties move back and forth and all of a sudden everybody wants to know what the heck is going on here. So
absolutely, I agree. Yeah. Absolutely with you.
Let's make it a point to get before one of our committees to unveil that plan.
The preliminary proposal was presented to our board last month, and you guys do have a member on that board. So I don't know if that will share with you or not.
I'm sorry,
yeah, so,
Mr. Chair.
Yes, go ahead.
I really don't want to get out of my lane here. I just wanted to say a few words, though, if I can. I see the questions that are coming, and I think I'm happy Commissioner Killeen is engaged in it, as many or all of the commissioners have been. And you have two members here of the board. Irma Clark Coleman is on the board, as am I. And let me just put a little light. You may remember Daniel, Daniel Rosenbaum was involved in the land bank for quite a long time. Did a really good job. Unfortunately, we lost him. He went to be a law professor. So recently, Anthony Cartwright came on board, and Anthony's kind of crafting it his own way and really getting his feet under him the last couple months. It really has been just a couple months. Anthony, I don't know if we appointed you at the last meeting or maybe the meeting before that, but it's just been the other day.
last
So,
meeting.
yeah, I think it'd be a great forum to have this, have a more open discussion. And I think that the land bank is touchy, Mr. Colleen, and we all know that. We don't ever want the land bank to be used as a tool of any kind of oppression or problems in neighborhoods. And Chairman Sabri and all the members take it seriously when the public comes to us, and we're there to solidify the neighborhoods and make sure properties are safe for neighbors and to get them back on the tax rolls. So,
Absolutely. I appreciate that, Mr. Candravis. I look forward to the discussion, and I'll just remind you that even the creation of the land bank 16, 17 years ago in Wayne County was a very controversial that the commission took up at the time, whether or not to even create that land bank. So I appreciate that we have a plan and that we talk about it at the appropriate committee for the commission. Thank you, Mr. Chair. Thank you, everybody.
Yeah. What is the status of the board members' terms that have expired?
The status of those terms, they are currently holdover terms. There are some documents going through right now to extend those board members' terms until 2023. So that should be taken care of in the very, very near future. Right now, those board members are serving their holdover term.
Mr. Chairman?
And Mr.
Yes.
Chairman, and may I say that my term started at the first of the year when our chair appoints new members. So my term runs until the next until the end of my term. My next to the end of the 2-year term.
Okay, and Andy, you had
Sure.
a question?
Yeah, I just wanted to reinforce to you that I'm working with Mr. Cartwright to make sure those are cleaned up. Tony Saunders, I, and Khalil Rahal are the current members, the appointees from the CEO's office. So we're gonna get that all cleaned up in a minute.
Tony Saunders is still on the.
He's been on the board as of we came in together. So yes, we've been on that board.
Okay, and then also, are we getting property from the treasurer's office and like from future properties that are not sold at the auction? Is that going to the land bank? Where those properties go?
Properties that are not sold at the treasurer's auction, they go through a process, and we are fourth in line in that process to receive those properties.
Thank you. Appreciate that. Anything further from commissioners? Okay.
I do have a comment though.
Yeah, Ms. Cora?
I just wanted to commend the land bank, and over the previous couple financial statements, we've had several findings. This year, there was no findings with the land bank, and I think they should be commended for that.
Okay, I appreciate that. And so, okay, anything further? A motion to receive and file would be appropriate.
Move to receive and file.
Support, Colleen.
Been moved and supported. Any further discussion? All those in favor, say aye. All those opposed? Okay, all those opposed?
Aye. No.
Commissioner Coleman, are you an aye or a nay?
I am an aye for receive and file.
The ayes have it. Okay, thank you. Next item, Madam Clerk.
If such other matters as may be properly submitted before the committee.
I do
There are
have
none.
something.
Oh, okay, Ms. Cora?
I just wanted to indicate that at today's meeting, we originally were going to do the single audit and have the auditees come so they could talk about their corrective action for the findings in the single audit. But because of a conflict with representatives from management and budget, we've postponed that meeting to the June 12th meeting. So the single audit will be taken up again at the June 12th meeting.
Sounds appropriate. Anything further?
That's all I have. Thank you.
Okay, next item, Madam Clerk.
Public comments.
Is there anybody from the public that would like to comment? Anybody from the public that would like to comment? Last time, anybody from the public like to comment? Okay, next item, Madam Clerk.
Adjournment.
Is there a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Been moved and supported. Is there any further discussion about adjournment? Okay, all those in favor of adjourning?
Aye.
All those opposed? The ayes have it. We are adjourned. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chair.